And from reopening today to their future survival, what challenges restaurants face in the weeks and months ahead.
How a local couple is going from laid off to a unique delivery service that gives back to our frontline workers.
And they're the modern-day victory gardens. The coronavirus has inspired a whole new generation of green thumbs. We have some tips from the pros to help you grow some great vegetables from home. What's new starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
And we have made it to another Friday. Hello again, friends. Thanks for choosing What's New. I'm Jay Crawford. My partner, Betsy Kling, is busy today. She's tracking even more storms today.
Yep.
Betsy, very good Friday afternoon to you. More or less severe than what we saw yesterday?
Less severe. Good question.
Good.
We got the rain early, so we hit our high temperature at about 11 o'clock this morning. 73 degrees, right on the number for the forecast. And then that rain came in and it kind of tempered our temperature rise. So we are dealing with rain now. Now here's the kicker. Notice how the rain is lined up along the lakeshore areas. That is a problem, mostly because it's one rain shower after another, after another, after another. That is called training rainfall. That is a big problem because that presents the possibility for heavy rainfall. And just in the last couple of minutes here, we did get a flood advisory issued. You can see there's even a few lightning strikes showing up in there. So we are definitely getting that possibility of the thunderstorms and flooding. So aerial flood advisory, that means there's a lot of standing water and there's more to come. Out to the west first into Erie, Huron, Lorain counties, you can see that band of very heavy rain that is lining up north of Wellington. That will all continue to move over Cuyahoga County, where we already have rain that has moved through over the last few hours, and that rain just continues to go out to the east, up along I-90, and again, it is just lined up. That is a huge issue. So in your hour-by-hour outlook, that will continue for the next couple of hours. Slowly but surely, the line will move south, but it is going to be slow, and that means the flood potential will continue as we go through the next few hours. We'll continue to watch the rain fade away as we get into the latter part of the night tonight, but by tomorrow morning, it will be dry. And that's going to lead us off to a beautiful Saturday. Here's the thing, Jay. Everybody needs to remember, keep an eye on the sump pumps because this is going to start to overwhelm the drainage systems here pretty quick. Back to you.
That is a very good tip. Betsy, thank you. We'll see you in just a little bit. All right, now to the latest coronavirus numbers here in Ohio. The state reporting 597 new cases today. That's a slight drop from yesterday, so that's certainly good news. There have now statewide been just under 27,000 reported cases. Now, this goes all the way back to the start of the outbreak, and many of those are better now. But again, the big takeaway day to day, the number of new cases is down, though slightly, from yesterday's number. Governor DeWine did not hold a news briefing today, as he does most days, but he did make time to sit down with our very own Russ Mitchell. And Russ joins us now. Russ, you guys covered quite a bit of ground.
We certainly did. He told me, as he always does, his top concern is the health and safety of everyone in Ohio. And we also spoke about this difficult transition and what could come next. You have talked about reopening the state being a bit of a gamble as things continue to roll out over the next couple of weeks. How much do the odds increase that more Ohioans will contract coronavirus?
You know, these are all tough decisions, and, you know, it's a risk, whatever we do. It's a risk if we just keep the economy shut down, because we know that there's not only economic consequences, people unemployed, but there's medical consequences, there's health consequences when the economy goes down like that. So we've got to try to do two things at once. We've got to try to come back economically, open things up. But the virus is still here. It's not gone away. As we open up Ohio, as people do more things, as they move about more, you know, the risk certainly dramatically goes up. And that's why I've said that this is really probably, in some respects, the most crucial, the most important month ahead of us.
The governor also told me it is way too early to know if students will be allowed to go back to school in the fall. And he's advising school districts to have plans either way. I also asked him if he would be comfortable sending one of his grandkids to a daycare center when they reopen at the end of the month. We will hear his answer tonight at 6. Also more at 11 as well, Jay.
That is a very effective tease. I want to hear what he had to say to that. Russ, very well done. We'll see much more of Russ's interview, as he said, coming up tonight at 6 and 11 o'clock. Betsy?
Well, everybody, today is the day. Restaurants can now open for outdoor dining. Doesn't mean they have. But salons are also open, and the question now is, are they starting to see customers? Well, Brandon Simmons starts our team coverage from Twinsburg tonight. Brandon?
Hey, Betsy. Yeah, we're here at Mavis Winkle's here in Twinsburg, as you said. And you can see there are a couple people here right behind me enjoying the patios that just opened up today. And the thing is, it's the weather that's been kind of throwing things off, I think, keeping things slow. But what's nice about this patio is it has a covering. So that's the kind you want to look for. But I also visited some of the popular spots downtown earlier today, and some of those places on East 4th and the Flats East Bank. And many of the restaurants haven't opened up their patios just yet. Now, for those who have chosen to do so, business was a little slow to start, people kind of trickling in and out. And you have to remember, downtown, many people aren't back to work just yet. But I did find a few people eating out at Harry Buffalo, Corner Alley, and even Margaritaville. And they say that they felt very safe being out today, partially because there are so few people around. But they do want more people to join them because they know how much business is needed.
Decided to come down here to Corner Alley, get some food to support some local business. Socially distant here, so, you know, being safe, washing my hands.
People still need to make a living in these businesses. We want them to stay. We want them to stay open in the summer, and we got to support them.
Now, restaurants who are open are taking extra precautions to keep you safe, including blocking off tables to maintain spacing and giving them more thorough cleanings between guests. Also, at Harry Buffalo, they have a new digital menu system where they don't have you touch any of the menus. You actually use your phone to scan a QR code so that you only see the menu on your phone. So restaurants are coming up with a lot of cool ways to keep you interested. And again, a roof covering right now is honestly the best feature, Betsy. I'm sure you'll have more about the weather and letting us know when we can really enjoy these patios coming up later this week.
I definitely will. And hopefully those restaurants have made accommodations for people who still have dumb phones, like my husband and my father, and they'll have big boards up for everybody to have that menu too.
Yeah, you don't see me laughing under the mask, Betsy, but yeah, I will have to see what they have.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It flips. That's all you need to know. All right, Jay, back to you.
I'm just laughing at the dumb phones. Very well done.
That's what they are.
Betsy. Well, even if the weather isn't cooperating, outside dining returns to Ohio today, and we'll all be able to look a little less shaggy because salons reopen today as well. Tiffany Tarpley shows us how barbers, stylists, and customers are navigating the changes.
It is a new way of doing business for salons and barbershops. Some, like the studio in downtown Cleveland, are locking their doors and working with clients who've made an appointment. Others, like Urban Cuts Barbershop on Cleveland's west side, are accepting walk-ins, but are asking those clients to sign in and wait elsewhere until it's their turn. It is a clear change for the industry, keeping social distancing measures in place, wearing masks, and extra sanitization and cleaning. After 8 weeks of being shut down, they are ready to open.
Our industry is very, very, very professional and conscious of what the guest needs. So we're happy to be back behind our chairs. We want our guests to know that we're going to take care of them, we're going to listen, and we're going to follow the guidelines.
It feels awesome to be open today. I really miss my team, my clients. Everybody's being safe as possible. And I feel confident that we'll be okay.
Although there are regulations set forth by the state, you are going to see differences in how each barbershop and salon chooses to operate during this COVID-19 pandemic. In downtown Cleveland, Tiffany Tarpley, 3 News.
You know, it's amazing. Now that everybody's wearing masks, I find myself really having to listen and pay attention to what people are saying because I can't see their lips moving, and that's kind of like a second way of confirming what I'm hearing. So this is a little bit of a shift everybody has to get used to. Well, speaking of shift, let's shift gears, get some of the other latest headlines that are happening today. Laura Queso joins me now for that. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Betsy. Let's do it. Yeah, no mask here. I'm in my own home, so not needed. I hope you don't have to pay attention as much. But yes, let's get to it. We have some important headlines. First, damage is being assessed after a 6.5 magnitude earthquake struck a remote area of Nevada just this morning. And now we're being told that the highway between Las Vegas and Reno was damaged, and it's now closed. No one was hurt, though. That's the good news. People from Salt Lake City to Northern California say they felt that quake, so clearly pretty strong. Well, the House is expected to vote on the HEROES Act today, another stimulus relief bill. It includes a second round of 1,200 stimulus checks and $200 billion in hazard pay for essential workers. It also extends the COVID-19 unemployment program another 6 months. If it clears the House, it is not expected to go anywhere in the Senate, and should it reach President Trump's desk, he says he'll veto it. Well, there won't be a Lake County YMCA Dream House fundraiser this year because of the coronavirus, of course, but you could still win a 2020 Chevy Blazer Dream Car. You can enter online. Tickets, just $10 each, and that drawing is July 12th, of course, for a wonderful cause, Betsy.
It definitely is. Thank you, Laura. Well, a state trooper who is missing her weekly lunch visits with her mama came up with a tasty way to spread joy to the entire nursing home. She coordinated a lunch visit with friends, family, and lots of other state troopers. It's all happening at Akron's Rocky Knoll Senior Care Facility. Her mom's favorite, Swenson's, good Akron girl there, provided lunch for the troopers, who also brought music, and Krispy Kreme donuts supplied a little bit of a stash there, hot and now. The nursing home and many others have been hard hit by the coronavirus. Trooper Dora Abshire says it's just what they needed during this time of separation from loved ones.
The window's open 4 inches, and I actually considered slitting the screen and sliding a burger into her because it's her favorite food in the whole world.
Who doesn't love Swenson's? You go, girl. The nursing home says they understand it's hard not being able to see loved ones in person, but even outside visits can help to cheer people up. Oh, it just breaks my heart when you see people touching hands through the glass, Jay. That just gets me all choked up.
It really does, Betsy. It is absolutely heartbreaking. Hopefully better times coming very soon. Ahead on What's New, now that restaurants are reopening, what has to happen to ensure that they survive long term? That's the goal here. For some, it won't be easy. We'll get into that. And Stephanie, hello.
Jay, we're taking it way back today because a former Pittsburgh Steelers player has dropped a bombshell about that infamous 2010 head-on-head hit while playing the Cleveland Browns. We'll tell you what he had to say and more when we come back right after this on What's New.
Welcome back to What's New. Today was the day that so many have been waiting for. Restaurants can begin serving diners again, outdoor seating only though. And when you go out, you'll notice things will look much different. You'll see barriers and distance between tables and modified menus, all to comply with the governor's orders. But will enough people go back to keep so many of these establishments that are just clinging to life now still alive? 3 News food expert Doug Tretner has part 2 of his 2-part chat with the team at Tartine Bistro in Rocky River about the new reality facing all restaurants.
Hey, Dean, I'm curious, any of your staff has expressed concerns about coming back to work?
They definitely have. We're not forcing anybody to come back. The health and safety of our employees is critical. They'll always have a career with us here at Tartine. Financially, the governor put us in sort of a weird position. Our staff, we're almost all collecting unemployment out of the gate. There were some hiccups here and there, but for the most part, the unemployment system was quite successful. And then they added in this extra weekly stipend on top of their approved unemployment compensation. And so some of them might be making more money staying at home than they would be coming back to the restaurant. But there's a very specific rule about the unemployment system that we document, notifying them that their job and their position is available, and if they choose to come back, they can. But if they decline to come back for some other reason, that could have an impact on their unemployment moving forward. So I think as a general message to the service industry as a whole, I think people need to kind of understand that general rule a little bit and know that it could compromise the ability if they do choose to not come back to work.
When you have a relatively small restaurant, I guess, or any size restaurant these days, walk-ins could be a problem, right?
Prior to these strange times we lived in, we did close between 2:30 and 4 o'clock when we were open for dinner service. I don't think we'll be doing that anymore. And I think we'll have staggered seatings throughout the day. A lunch seating at 11, a lunch seating at 12:30. We haven't quite figured out the hard and fast rules for that yet, but we'll probably be doing seating times to begin with, and then kind of play it by ear and be very fluid with how we seat and our floor plans as we adapt to the changing times.
Reopening a restaurant is not as easy as turning on a light switch and firing up the stove. A lot of people say you get one shot to do this. And are you concerned that a few weeks or months down the road that you might be forced to shut down again?
Yeah, it's definitely a concern and probably a likelihood, right? There is a possibility that we are in worse shape than we are now in 3 months, and we have to shut down and close again. But to be honest, Doug, at this point, we are crossing each bridge as we get to them.
Well, thanks. Good luck to all of you, and stay safe.
Thanks, Doug.
We are certainly rooting for all of our local restaurants. They can begin indoor seating next Thursday. And for part 1 of Doug's story, you can visit WKYC.com/Doug Tretner. Betsy, for those that were wanting to head out tonight and grab a meal and that outdoor seating, I'm not sure what kind of an option it is. I can hear it pouring here. I'm in Chagrin Falls, and just outside my window, I can hear it is coming down.
Sorry, I'm doing like 3 things at once. I'm updating Instagram and Twitter right now. Flash flood warning was just issued in that same area that I was focusing on. If you've been following along with me on social media, I posted a few, like 30 minutes ago, I was kind of worried about this, and indeed this is the situation. So let's take a look. There is a patio forecast for the evening. Since the patios are back open, it's not looking great, right? Temps in the 60s. So if you're going to go out to the patios, and by all means, if it's covered, do it. But maybe call ahead to make sure your reservations are still on. The rain is coming down to beat the band, y'all. This is a bad situation because we have a rain train, and it is just one after the other of these bouts of heavy rain, and the system is becoming overwhelmed. And by that, I mean the stormwater system. So we already have a lot of standing water across Northeast Ohio. Initially, we had that flood advisory issued, but then a flash flood warning was added to that. So if just a couple minutes ago, your phone and everybody's phone around you started going bananas, that is the flash flood warning. There's 2 different types of alerts that will alert all of the phones. This is mandated by the FCC. It would be a tornado warning and a flash flood warning. Remember, a lot of deaths happen in flash flooding because people think they can make it through water, typically in a car, and their car gets swept away. That is a possibility because this rain is coming down. It has all been in this stripe that you see right here. That's a training rain event, and these types of situations can be particularly nasty in urban areas because all of that water is expected to funnel into a single sewer system and it overwhelms it. If it backs up, then you know what happens after that. So if you have a sump pump in the basement, pay extra attention to that sump pump as we go through the rest of the night. Specifically, I'm thinking of the folks in Parma where we have problems from time to time, but also just any of our counties that are right along the lakeshore. Don't forget, we do have our news app, the WKYC app. You can keep an eye on all of these alerts, and then also traffic and, of course, the rain. This is a live look now, I-90 at West Boulevard. I put this in a couple minutes ago, and now I see there's an accident that's happening here. So hydroplaning, a major issue right now on I-90, not only west, but also east. This is 90 at State Route 2. You can get an idea of how murky the visibility is. This is some seriously heavy rain, everybody. Big raindrops, too. And we're already seeing ponding down in the low-lying areas, so this is going to be on the roads, too. So surface water is a big problem. The pockets of heaviest rain are here indicated in the orange, and you can see it's all coming in from west to east right along the 80-90 corridor. That continues out to the east side where it eventually then takes over into Geauga, Ashtabula, and northern Trumbull counties. We still have some rain farther south, but they're not getting that training rainfall. Here's the best news. This is tomorrow's weather. Yay, we get a break for once. All right, here's a look at your National Designer hour-by-hour forecast. The rain train, the line of rain, will very slowly fade south as we go through the next couple of hours. So we'll give it another probably at least an hour in greater Cleveland, and I would say even later farther than that as that rain continues to subside to the south. We're going to turn the wind around, and that's going to bring cool air in off the lake. So I'm expecting widespread lakeshore fog to begin the day tomorrow with temperatures in the low 50s. We'll start the day close to 60 in tropical Dover, but we get some sunshine tomorrow, my friends. Once that fog starts to mix out, I think things are going to be looking really nice for us in the afternoon. Northerly breezes will keep the lakeshore areas cooler than farther south, where once again we're expected to make it well into the 70s. But then by Saturday night, we're going to start to see some clouds coming in, and your Universal Windows Direct forecast brings rain and rumbles right back at us on Sunday. That is a big frontal boundary that's going to come through. That's going to knock us back into the low 60s. And then the extended forecast right now, we are still calling for a warming trend with partly cloudy skies, but the question is what's going to happen beyond that. We could have some little complications to a real big warm up coming our way. We'll have more on that in the coming days. We'll be right back. Jay?
Wow, I'm really focused in on that next Friday forecast. That looks great. We're honoring high school seniors that had to sacrifice so much of their final year of high school because of the coronavirus. Today's senior shout out goes to Drew Krakowski. Drew's finishing up at Bard Early College High School in Cleveland while also working at Giant Eagle during the pandemic. Very busy man. He plans to attend Youngstown State University to study, get this, astrophysics. Smart young man, too. Send your senior shout out to us at WKYC.com/senior shoutouts. Ahead on What's New, former Steelers tough guy James Harrison is making real waves for what he said head coach Mike Tomlin did after Harrison's infamous knockout hit of former Browns wide receiver Mohamed Massaquoi. Clicking in Cleveland is next.
Mic check, this is What's Clicking in Cleveland. Good.
time to check in with Stephanie Haney for a look at what is clicking in Cleveland. What's the latest going on there, girl?
Well, Betsy, first up, President Donald Trump gave us an update today on a possible timetable for a coronavirus vaccine while talking about his Operation Warp Speed program. Now, he says that he wants the vaccine ready by the end of the year, and they'll test multiple possible vaccines at the same time to try and speed up that process. And once one is ready, the military will help distribute it. Now, keep in mind, medical experts do say that a vaccine could take a year to 18 months to develop. Now, here in Northeast Ohio, most of us think that LeBron James is pretty great, and LA Clippers coach Doc Rivers thinks that extends beyond basketball. While on his son's podcast, Austin Rivers, Doc Rivers says that he's never seen an athlete like LeBron in the league, and he really believes if LeBron James had to play football, he may have been the greatest football player ever. Now, that is high, bold praise. Here is another shocking statement. Former Pittsburgh Steelers player James Harrison has implied that head coach Mike Tomlin actually paid him for that 2010 hit on Mohamed Massaquoi here when they were playing the Cleveland Browns. Remember that nasty hit? It gave Massaquoi a concussion, and Harrison was fined $75,000 for it. And this week on Barstool Sports Going Deep podcast, Harrison said, "The G-est thing Mike Tomlin ever did was hand him an envelope after that," implying that he got paid for it or at least paid back for the fine. Now, obviously, this is a huge deal, especially after Bountygate with the New Orleans Saints. So after Harrison said that, the Steelers owner, Art Rooney II, said that he does not think that ever happened, that he's actually very certain nothing like this ever happened. But Betsy, the question now is whether there will be an investigation into this because everyone is talking about it.
Definitely. It's a big deal and something we keep an eye on here in Cleveland. Appreciate it, Stephanie. Thanks. We'll be right back.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
And welcome back to What's New. I hope you're having a terrific Friday, even with the rain. I'm Jay Crawford from Studio J. Betsy Kling is back in our WKYC studio. And Bets, you're tracking the storms. I know you are. How's it looking out there?
I am. I'm here in Studio A, so we kind of have this little rhyming thing happening here. Certainly the rain is coming down to beat the band. This is going to be a big problem for the rest of the evening. And the lakeshore areas, we have a flash flood warning that has been issued. Here's the latest look at the radar, and you can see how the rain is kind of elongated along a line, right along the lakeshore. So the heaviest rain is coming one right after the other over that area, and that means that is going to really add up. We've had occasional lightning strikes, some thunderstorms in there too. So flood advisory for the lakeshore areas in whole. That does include Erie, Lorain, Cuyahoga, Lake, and Ashtabula counties. And then on top of that, we have a flash flood warning. That means quickly rising waters. Do not enter flooded roadways, please. And heaven's sake, please don't let your kids play in the flood. Oh, it's so disgusting. Floodwater is Mother Nature's overflowing toilet. I cannot tell you that enough. Believe me, it's disgusting water. Don't let them in it. There's a look out west where the heaviest rain is. It is in northern Lorain County into Cuyahoga County. It is really coming down right now near the Richfield area and just north of there into Broadview Heights and Brecksville, over to Solon and Bainbridge, and then right up through Middlefield and into portions of Ashtabula County. This line of rain will slowly fade south as we go through the evening. Look at that. By 7 o'clock, it's just inland from the lakeshore counties, and then we'll continue to move southward as we go through the overnight hours. Now, that will take a lot of this rain with it. It will bring in some cooler air, and we'll probably have some fog hanging around to start the day tomorrow. But at least over the next few hours, we are looking at rain and lots of it, unfortunately, with those temperatures getting back into the 60s. Ultimately, by the morning, Jay, I think we're going to land in the low 50s across a good chunk of Northeast Ohio.
Hey, dry and low 50s, I'll take it. Betsy, thanks. You know the deal. We start the bottom half of the hour with a feel-good story. This is a good one. I know high school seniors are missing out on so many milestones: spring sports, prom, and of course graduation. And the teachers feel the pain of the seniors too. So today in Avon, about 70 teachers and administrators volunteered to personally deliver the graduation caps, gowns, and honor cords to all 371 expecting to graduate soon. What a great story. They spent hours this morning making those deliveries, and to all who volunteered to do that, we send a huge what's new thank you to all of you. Really cool sight. Betsy, someone was saying the other day that, you know, all of the great memories that come along with your senior year, particularly the second half, they stay with you for the rest of your life. And it's a shame that they're going to miss out on those. But I guess you don't know what you're not missing if you've never experienced it. So I love the fact that so many are trying to do so much to make this time as good as they possibly can for them.
Try to. And don't get hung up on what you're missing out on, because truthfully, sometimes it wasn't all that great for some people, but you just got to kind of make your best. I mean, come on, there are prom stories that are not very good for a lot of people.
Year?
What's that?
Are you saying you didn't have a wonderful senior year of high school?
I had a great senior year, but you know, everybody has a few moments in their lives that aren't as cherry as some of the others and would rather be
This
forgotten.
is true.
So maybe you're missing out on some of those bad ones too.
It's a great point.
I'm trying hard. All right, let's keep moving. We've got our top talker coming up now. The global pandemic has not only affected the way students learn, but also how they are going to find summer work. Jobs are hard to get right now for anyone, and a lot of parents have concerns about safety when it comes to traditional summer jobs like at the pool or a restaurant. A local organization that pairs kids with summer jobs says they have seen a significant drop in the number of available positions.
We were on track to serve about 2,500 teams this summer, and when COVID hit, we've really gone down to about 1,000 this summer.
Well, the folks at Youth Opportunities Unlimited, which is a wonderful group, they say the gradual reopening phase paired with social distancing and safety requirements has led to limited opportunities for kids. Some nonprofits with the program are now offering paid online learning experiences as an alternative. That's a pretty sweet alternative. Let's check in with Laura Queso now for more news headlines that are happening here at the bottom of the hour. Hi again, Laura.
Hi again, Betsy. Yeah, well, the Cleveland Clinic is actually delaying some of its big projects this year. That includes the Mentor Hospital and also the Neurological Institute Hospital building there. Now, the clinic actually told 3 News that they need to preserve resources right now. So they've decided not to move forward on planned capital spending projects. Instead, they'll commit those resources to patients, caregivers, and also the community. Again, the Cleveland Clinic postponing some big projects there. The Navy hospital ship Mercy left port in Los Angeles today and is headed back to its home port in San Diego. However, its medical team is staying behind to continue to help with the coronavirus pandemic. LA has had more than 35,000 cases of the virus and 1,700 deaths. Well, the Vatican started disinfecting St. Peter's Basilica today to get ready for people to start attending Mass once again. Those are scheduled to start Monday. Temperature scanners will be put in major basilicas around Rome for big celebrations, when larger crowds, of course, are expected. There is no word yet on when Pope Francis would preside over next celebration inside St. Peter's. Again, just another thing that the coronavirus is affecting here, Betsy.
It's so weird to see those little cleaning zambonis inside of St. Peter's Basilica. Like,
Right?
it just doesn't seem like that should be what it is, but you got to do what you got to do. There's a lot of territory to cover there. Thanks, Laura.
Betsy, thanks.
Jay?
By the way, Betsy, that was a smooth recovery. Laura clearly didn't have her mic on to start that, and she seamlessly put it on, no problem.
Yep.
That's a pro. Sad news for Frozen fans, but good news for Jonas Brothers fans. Here's Stephanie Haney with your daily pop break.
The Jonas Brothers have done it again. The famous bros dropped 2 new songs last night. 5 More Minutes.
Give me 5 more minutes. Yeah, baby.
And X featuring Colombian singer Karol G.
Yeah. Ooh la la, but the pool is singing my line.
And while the songs are, of course, amazing, some fans are having a hard time understanding the words in X. Good thing they posted a lyric video. Sad news for Frozen fans in the Big Apple. The hit Broadway show has announced that it will not reopen in New York City after the COVID-19 pandemic is over. The news is especially heartbreaking for the new cast, including Northeast Ohio native Sierra Renee, who has been playing Elsa. She reposted a fan who shared a bootleg clip of her performing. Along with videos of herself dancing out the hurt and embracing her own queendom. But all is not lost. The Frozen cast will still tour the show as soon as it's safe. It's a boy.
It's a boy.
Ashley Simpson and Evan Ross are evening things out in their family, and their daughter is not feeling it. Aw, she'll get over it. Brothers aren't so bad. And Michelle Obama is throwing a prom next week, virtually of course, with the help of MTV. It all started as a reward for the most creative, nonpartisan youth voter registration efforts, but now everyone who missed out on the dance gets to be a part of it. You know, the Obamas are really all over the place celebrating those 2020 grads. They've got 3 more virtual ceremonies coming up. The first one is tomorrow, and it's in partnership with the LeBron James Family Foundation, Jay, and that's going to air right here on Channel 3 at 8 p.m., so we definitely don't want to miss that.
Yeah, I've read a little bit about that. LeBron doing a very good thing for a lot of those seniors that will not have an actual graduation ceremony. Steph, thanks. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday. Next on What's New, it's a decades-old tradition. You may have heard of it. Victory gardens. Many are planting them again in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic. It's very easy, and we're going to show you how you can do it when What's New comes right back.
But first, it's time for our pop quiz. This week marks 22 years since we lost music icon Frank Sinatra. How many top 10 hits did he have on Billboard's Hot 100? 15, 20, or 25? We'll have the answer when we come back. All right, it's time to get the answer to our pop quiz. How many top 10 hits did Frank Sinatra have on his Billboard's Top 100? And the answer is 20. Oh, some really good ones there. Jay?
Yeah, he was a national treasure for sure. Victory gardens are making a real comeback. For those looking to put that green thumb to use, I've got just the thing for you. What exactly is a victory garden, though? Many of the younger generation probably have no idea. It is pretty easy to get started. And to show you, we turn to the experts at PATIO's for some good ideas to get the ball rolling. We're back with our good friend Noelle Aiken from PATIO Garden Center. And we did this on a small scale a couple of weeks ago. We did a planter victory garden. Right. We're going to take it kind of to the next level. You call it 2.0. We're going to put it into a bigger potter. And victory gardens, for those of you that don't know, were big around World War II as a way of everyone kind of growing their own food so they could take a little bit of stress off the farmers.
And so you can plant tomatoes in a container garden, no problem.
Right.
The one condition with tomatoes is they really do like depth of a container. So you want 10 to 12 inches of depth on these containers. So we've got it. The next thing we want to do, Jay, is see all these tiny leaves at the bottom?
Yes.
You want to remove those.
Okay. Now, is this something that you do consistently?
Before planting, yes.
Just before planting?
Before planting. And then we're just going to put the tomato right in the middle. Make a little bit of a hole there and sink the tomato down so the stem is kind of even with the lip.
Okay, that look good there?
Yeah, that looks good.
Okay.
Okay, next plant, you can grow tomatoes with several other types of plants, but they are really, really good producers with basil, of course.
Okay.
Parsley, onions. So they do very, very well. It's like a companion plant for them. They all kind of work nicely together. Just rest it right in because it's pretty low right there. At least my soil level is a little bit low.
Okay.
And we'll fill in around.
Okay, that makes sense. I felt like it was low.
Okay, and then the next thing that we probably need to do is fill up with the soil, and then your fertilizer on top is going to be tomato tone.
And that's the last thing you do?
That's the last thing you do, okay? And you sprinkle it around the top, and then you go ahead and water everything in. Ta-da, you're ready to go.
Water every day?
Probably not. I will say with planting mixes, when you use planting mixes in a container, they hold more moisture.
Okay.
But tomatoes like even moisture. That's how you, develop nice big fruit. Just make sure, you're testing it with your finger, making sure it's evenly moist, not too wet.
Okay.
And it'll be fine.
Okay, so we've topped them off with the soil. We've added a little bit of fertilizer, which, Noelle, you say you can add about a cup every month.
Right.
Just to make sure that the soil stays fertile and it helps the plants grow along.
Right. When you're growing in containers, you're watering more often, so that leaches your feed out of the soil. So yeah, you're usually feeding a little bit more often than normal, like in a ground garden.
Right. Okay, so there you have it. Now we have a parsley, basil, onion, and cherry red tomato garden all ready to go.
Yeah, ready to go.
Noelle, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And mine right now is getting drowned in water because it's outside on one of my back patios. And I'm not kidding you, Betsy, it sounds like someone's hitting my window with a fire hose.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like here.
Really coming down.
It is.
Yeah.
Matt Wentz just tweeted out a picture. He said his grass seed's going to grow in thick, and it's a picture of a waterfall. So definitely some people are still having some chuckles over it. But we do have a flash flood warning to talk about. Downtown Cleveland, we are getting soaked right now. There's the rain train, okay? This is a training rain situation. That means waves of rain, one after the next, over the same area, and that means you just kind of get buckets, one and then another one dumped on you and another one. And we have basement flooding that's already been reported. Heather Clark just hit me with an instant message on Instagram, and she said her basement in Shaker Heights is flooding. I know there's some people right now in Parma that are watching their basements very closely. We do have some areas across Northeast Ohio where we just have old infrastructure, and this is going to overwhelm the system. So a flash flood warning is in effect for northern Lorain, Cuyahoga, Lake Geauga counties, and here into northern portions of Summit and Medina counties too. 2. That's the rain, and you can see we've got a couple little areas where it's a little heavier. We're starting to get some thunder going. Aerial flood advisory for Erie, Lorain, Cuyahoga, Lake Geauga counties, as well as Ashtabula. It basically means we have a lot of standing water, but the flash flood warning, that kind of kicks it up a notch. That's where we have that possibility of life-threatening flooding going on. If folks drive their car into the water, that's going to be a big problem. If power lines fall into the water, that could be a really big problem. So this is a nasty situation that's setting up, and you can see the stripe of very heavy rain that has already established. All of this rain is very slowly fading to the south. There is a look at it. We're going to take a quick peek on the roads, just as like we did before. I-90 at West Boulevard. The accident that we saw earlier has been cleared, but there's still a lot of water on the road. Look at the splash coming off the cars. So that's what you're going to run into if you go out. This is I-77 at 271. It is just hammering rain down there. So don't forget, turn your headlights on. Of all the dumb things, when you turn your windshield wipers on, turn your headlights on, it saves a whole lot of people a whole lot of problems. They can see you. It doesn't matter so much if you can see them at that point, but you can see how murky conditions are. So the heavier rain continues to come in along 20, 80, and 90, meaning US 20, I-80, I-90, right through Cuyahoga County. This little area right here, this from around Broadview Heights over through Twinsburg, Macedonia, right up through Bainbridge into Newberry, Middlefield. This is where the heavy rain is. We could get some gusty wind coming out of this too. We've also got some lightning reported. This will start to increase in a little bit of speed, headed for Garrettsville, Ravenna, Rootstown, Uniontown, those kind of areas farther to the south. But tomorrow, we will get to see some sunshine, everybody, and temperatures are going to be varied across the area. We're going to find the wind turning to the north, and that means cooler lakeshore, warmer south. We're going to call it near 70 on average, but I think we're going to get stuck in the low 60s along the lakeshore, but we'll be mid-70s farther south. Universal Windows Direct forecast then for Sunday, rain and rumbles, and then we're cooler again by the time we get into Monday and Tuesday with scattered showers. We will get to see the sun again, and it's also going to be warmer. We'll be right back.
The restaurant industry has been among the hardest hit during the coronavirus pandemic, But one Bainbridge couple has turned job loss into a brand new business with a focus on giving back. And you can help by simply enjoying a cocktail. Here's a look at Dave's Quarantinis.
With all the news and all the negative out in the world that we're seeing and all the scary things, we want to bring something positive.
As the saying goes, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. But for Dave Acker and Kaya Fernandez, it's really more like when life gives you quarantine, make quarantinis. Dave Quarantinis, that is.
Kind of just started as like a little joke with our neighbors and, you know, delivering drinks. He makes really good drinks.
Kaya's a general manager at a steakhouse. She's been furloughed during the pandemic. Dave, a bartender at a local cocktail bar, also furloughed and then laid off. But they've turned what could be a dark time into a brand new opportunity, crafting high-end cocktails to enjoy at home.
We're just doing, it's a 9-ounce, 2 servings per bottle that's delivered to your doorstep.
But instead of taking the profits for themselves, they're helping others.
And it just kind of hit home to us. We've got some family members and friends that are nurses and doctors locally, and we just really wanted to figure out a way that we could give back.
They've donated masks and meals to those on the front line.
If we can just put a smile on one of their faces just once, that makes me a happy person to feel good to give back to the community and show respect and appreciation and their dedication, because they don't have to show up to work, but they do. And
fueled by that passion, they're putting in long hours and turning what started as a small idea into a big movement.
We've had an outreach from, say, Lorain through Ashtabula, and as far north as Lake Erie to Akron is what we've been covering for the most part. Pretty broad range, but we've had a lot of inquiries from out of state as well.
Their next step, a retail space to help expand their mission of good drinks and making a difference.
You know, no matter how small or large, it's an impactful difference one way or another, and it's just been such a blessing that we've been able to be so impactful in such a short period of time. And we're just still growing, which is the most incredible part, because we feel like we can do so much more and we want to. It's just a matter of time.
That, Betsy, is really cool. So far, they've been able to donate around $6,000 to funding for PPE and meals for frontline workers. That's making the best out of a bad situation right there.
It definitely is. I love stories like that. Quarantinis. All right. Well, one man's real life night at the museum. Jay, this is right up your alley. What he did after sneaking in next in your Worth the Watch.
Time for our Friday Worth the Watch. This is a good one. It takes us to Sydney, Australia, where police are searching for a man who decided that he wanted his own real-life night at the museum. He's no Ben Stiller, though. And you can see what he's doing here. Security cameras catch him just sort of wandering around through the closed museum. He even takes some selfies with dinosaur bones. I love that. Now, Betsy, he wasn't there to cause any trouble or make any harm. He didn't steal anything. He didn't damage anything. The entire break-in lasted for about 40 minutes. My hope is he was live streaming it to his friends. We shouldn't laugh because it was a break-in, but nothing was harmed. I think it's just a great story. And Betsy, before we go, I want to fix a mistake that I made earlier in the show. We showed that video of the teachers over in Avon Lake delivering the graduation caps and gowns and the honor cords. I misidentified it as Avon, and I know that can be kind of touchy. It was Avon Lake, and for all of the volunteers that did that, we send a big thank you to you. We're done. We're out of time. Have a great weekend, Betsy, and we'll see you Monday.
You're done. They'll see you Monday. I'm off to What Matters Most with Russ and Laura right now.